What's up, everybody? So I am here with two very important people. I'm very happy to be talking to them. We have Bruno, the animation director, and then we have Erica, the lead narrative animator director for God of War Ragnarok. How are both of you doing?
We're doing fantastic. We're super happy that the game is almost out and that you all get to experience it.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
No, I've been playing nonstop. You guys did fantastic work. I just can't put the controller down, and I don't know, man. I feel a lot of the fans are like asking you guys a bunch of questions, and I just want to help them out. So I'm really happy to be here. But my first thing is, what got you two into animating in the first place, especially in the video game industry when there's so many other places to go to?
To be honest, at first I wanted to do something with art, and then I kind of discovered I wanted to do something with animation, but originally I wanted to go to film, so I wanted to do like Disney animation, right? I watched Beauty and the Beast and I was awestruck. Like, I mean, I was like, you can do that for a living? That's amazing. So I went to animation school, and then one day, I also grew up loving video games, by the way, but one day I saw a note on the wall that said, video game internship, no pay. So I'm like, okay, I grabbed it. Yeah, I applied, and I was like, "Oh, what is this all about?" And that's where it was destiny, because that's when I met Eric Williams and Corey Barlog working in this game company out in Moorpark, California. And I got the internship, and I got to work with them, and they taught me everything. And my love for games and my love for animation came together, and from that point on, I was like, I'm a game animator.
Yeah, that's it.
I had kind of a similar path. I mean, I knew I wanted to be an animator from like third grade. I had seen this behind-the-scenes Disney special where they were making like a Donald Duck cartoon with cells, and I was like, whatever that is, it's awesome. I want to do that. So like, I was trying to figure out like, how could I do that? I ended up at UCLA, and I also got an internship, although mine was paid.
Yeah.
Lucky you, Erica.
It was in electronic arts, and I met Artak Kovakian there, he ended up being my lead at Santa Monica Studio when I came over here. So it was great, just like finding video games and finding how fun it was to be like, it's this great mix match of like art, but also like technical problem solving. So I love that about video games.
Yeah, and I think video games are like so cool, especially like I love action games and fighting games as well, and all the animations you guys have to put in. I'm afraid of it, so I'm glad you guys get to do it, man. I'm completely afraid. One of the first things that really go around over on Twitter is people compared a lot of the animation in God of War Ragnarok to a lot of the older games, and a lot of people are so excited because of this. But I wanted to ask, did you guys look at the old games and say, oh yeah, it would be cool if Kratos could do this in God of War Ragnarok? Like, was that the process?
I mean, we always look at the old games for inspiration. I mean, Erica and I actually worked on the old games too, right? So, we worked on Ascension together. So we got that DNA with us. We carry it. So, of course, we're God of War fans ourselves. So even though we reimagined God of War in 2018, that inspiration was always there. So now in Ragnarok, that we have the opportunity to expand the combat and to just add so much more, of course we're going to go look back at those old animations and be like, oh, remember that kill, remember that grapple hook, remember the combat grapple where you can shoulder check people. Of course, we draw inspirations for that. So the process is, that looks cool, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I think it fits well narratively with Kratos' character, right? Like, he's grown a lot, but he's still that person, and he's got that past. So I think us looking back into our past and Kratos looking back into his past, it makes sense to continue that story on. And I think with 2018, with the big shakeup with the camera and the new combat, we were learning a lot of things. And now with this game, we've learned a lot, and we're like, okay, now how can we kind of merge the two together and bring something, fresh and exciting.
Yeah, and I really do think that is something that the fans appreciate, because like out of all the animations they chose to pick out, it's the ones that remind them of like how powerful Kratos was in the past. So it makes perfect sense. And the next thing I really wanted to ask, because like I've been playing a lot, and a lot of the scenes and gameplay going into these large, huge scenes, like they seem to blend together so well. So I want to ask, how did that all work? Like, was it extremely difficult to do? What was the process in creating and blending gameplay and when these huge moments happen?
I think Erica,
Yeah,
Sure. I think it's definitely a collaborative effort between like the design team, the writing team, the animation team. Like we've got this concept in our head of what is this fight gonna be. We even make like PowerPoint presentations of like, here are the beats broken down, and then here are the cinematics that happen, like the story leading into and out of a fight. And I think we work very closely with even the environment art team. Like, what is this arena gonna look like? Where's the player gonna enter in from? You know, and we previs our cinematics around that. Like, okay, here's what's the space where we're going to tell a little story, and then when you finish, make sure Kratos is facing this position and make sure he's in this pose, and that when the fighting starts, it's very smooth. We have a whole like buttery smooth pass where we make sure that there's no pops and everything works really seamlessly.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really well done. You know, those moments when, you know, I'm in the gameplay and then it instantly shifts to a scene that I'm still holding the controller forward. Like, that's how well it blends in together. And I think that, you know, you did a fantastic job on that in your team. Next, I wanted to ask, what was your favorite enemy to animate in God of War Ragnarok? You know, there's a lot of enemies that are already shown. What was your favorite?
Okay, so I have a confession to make. I didn't get to animate as much as I'd like to in this particular project because my role was to do a lot of supervising. But I still have one of my favorites, which is the Dreki, which was animated by Jack Ebensteiner. He's an amazing animator, and he's big giant like crocodile. I'm sure you fought him already since you played the game. And I love like the jiggle that he has and the way that he fights, the way that he's just so ferocious, the way he interacts with Kratos and slams him around. Jack looked at a lot of reference for alligators and crocodiles to really make sure you got the weight. So for me, like, that's one of my favorite ones because, again, expanding the roster, bringing those mythological creatures up to the forefront again in Ragnarok, that was one of our goals. So like, to me, like, that's just one of the various cool enemies that you're gonna get to fight. So do you have a favorite one, Erica?
Oh man, I don't want to get too spoilery, but I really love the big bosses, the big ones, you know, because the animators being able to get a sense of the weight and the massive scale of them, but also make them responsive and be really fun to play. I think that's really fun. And again, like Bruno's, as a lead, I'm more focused on making sure my team has the tools they need to animate, but I did do a little moment in Jotunheim where you introduce a creature as like my little piece that I'm like, I did this kind of, you know, and I didn't even animate all of it. Like, it's a big team effort. Like, sometimes we have to hand stuff off between different people to make sure it gets enough polish and enough love to really sell that high quality. So it's a lot of people touch hands on everything.
Erica's being modest because the stuff that she worked on is amazing.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah. So you mentioned giving your teams like the tools to, you know, actually make these incredible things. But between God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, has it gotten easier for you, or, you know, because again, these scenes are huge in Ragnarok. Do they cause more of a challenge? I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Oof. I mean, I would say everything in Ragnarok was more of a challenge, in a different way, because 2018 we were able to reinvent everything and start everything from scratch. But at least we had a solid base, right, to jump off from for God of War Ragnarok. But definitely now we had way more characters. I think we have, in some cinematics, right, Erica? We have way, like, almost double the amount of characters that we ever had in our most complex.
We'll regularly
scene.
Have 5, 6, 7 characters in a cinematic.
Yeah.
So it was very complicated. It took a lot of planning, a lot of back and forth between our teams. But in the end, we just really wanted to make sure that this game was bigger. We promised all of you we were going to go to all 9 realms. We had to meet that goal. The community told us we want more bosses, more enemies. Like, we had to do it. We had no choice, right? So everything was harder and more complicated, but we just had to pull it off
I mean,
somehow.
it didn't help that a pandemic happened in the middle of our production. So I think, like for me on the cinematic side, our mocap shoots had shut down for several months. So we were like, what are we gonna do? We can't shoot with the actors right now. I mean, luckily we still had a lot of scripts that we hadn't really planned out yet. So we really just kind of put our heads down and said, okay, how are we gonna plan these scenes so that when the stage does open up and we're able to safely meet again, we can just unlock the floodgates and just go and have everything prepared. But it was definitely some rough times there.
The fact that this game was made in the middle of a pandemic in the first place and it came out the way that it did, I think really speaks volumes, and like the amount of work and effort that was put into it. I imagine that could not have been easy, like, at all.
No, but I mean, again, we were committed to that same quality. Like, we didn't want to compromise anything. We didn't want to be like, no, we're gonna tell a different story now. We're like, no, we're gonna tell the story we wanted, because it was that important to us. So, we found more resources, we found the time, and we just made it happen.
Yeah. So the next thing, and I hope that this is like not putting any more pressure on you two, but God of War 2018 and not a lot of news outlets and players, they all consider it game of like the decade. So I want to ask, like, if you would look back at God of War Ragnarok and you'd be like, okay, do you guys think that you really helped like push the game forward? Like, do you think this game is bigger than God of War 2018 in terms of like animations and stuff like that?
I would say absolutely yes. And like I said, I don't think we could have done it without having the base that we already established with 2018 in order for us to be able to take it and make it bigger and expand. It's basically very reminiscent to God of War 2005 to God of War 2, where we had the base and we just went off and then added tons of stuff. But it was definitely our goal, right? And to just try to find every way that we could to expand it. Like, one of the examples is, for the first time ever, this is something that one of my dreams, I wanted to get weapon-specific kills into the game. And while not every enemy has it, the majority of all the grunts and enemies that you fight the most have this weapon-specific kills. And that was something that we really wanted to get out to the fans and really not have to, like, only default to the weapon that you didn't have equipped, right? So, or one particular weapon. So that was one of the biggest things. So we just wanted to push more and be able to get as much as we could into the game.
Yeah,
I think we were really proud of what we did with 2018, but I'm also happy that our writing team was able to come up with a story that was just more epic than the last one, and we were able to give every character time to explore their stories. So we're just really excited for the players to experience that.
And
to bring the whole thing to a close too, right? To bring the Norse saga to as much of a satisfying ending as possible. Like, that was something that we really wanted to accomplish.
And I think you guys really did accomplish that. Again, I imagine that, like, it can't be easy going from game of the decade to something new that's coming out. And I imagine that's a lot of pressure, but you guys really did, like, knock it out of the park, in my opinion. The last thing I want to say is, do you guys want to tell anything to, like, the fans? Because I'm sure you guys get a ton of questions. A lot of people want to know a lot of stuff. It's hard for me because people know I played the game. So I imagine for you it's 10 times tougher, especially over the years. So is anything you want to tell them?
Erica, you want to go first?
I would say, like, what I love is just hearing how the fans connect. I want to see, like, who are your favorite characters, what were your favorite moments in the game, and it could be as little as, there's tiny little moments, little things a character does, as well as the big epic ones. But I love hearing all of that, because that really what keeps me focused on making games is being able to share them with the players and hearing how they connect with them. So I love hearing from the fans. It's like a big love letter to you guys, and we love to hear back from you.
Yeah, for me, I have to agree with Erica. I've been part of this franchise for a long time, and the fact that I feel like the fan base has even grown over the years, and we get more God of War fans out there supporting us. Like, that's why we do it. We really want to do it for the community. John, I feel like I know you because I've been listening to your theories for so many years, and it's so much fun to see, like, oh my God, he's guessing everything. Slow down, So and some stuff, yeah, it's off base, but hey, I love to hear. So I really appreciate the community. I appreciate you, John. I feel like I know you already, even though it's the first time I talked to you in person. But I just want to say thank you to all the God of War fans over the years. We hope that you really enjoy this story. We can't wait for you to experience the whole thing. We're so excited that it's almost out, and we just appreciate your support. That's all really we can really say. Thank you for sticking with us for all this time, and we'll keep on going as long as you want us to. So appreciate it.
You shouldn't have said that. I don't want you guys to stop, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. But yeah, I think everybody's extremely excited for this game. I want to thank you two once again for coming on and answering my questions. I will pull no theories out of this, I promise. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it.